Hello and welcome to Module 3, Performance Measurement and Program Evaluation. My name is Paul Brown. I am Deputy Director and Director of Programs here at Serve Colorado. Thank you for your interest in national service in Colorado. Today we're going to be talking through performance measurement and program evaluation and making sure we understand the difference between the two of them when you as an AmeriCorps program are required to conduct each of those two things, and making sure that you know how to go about doing that, and also to provide your resources within Serve Colorado team and on national resources to access more knowledge about these two topics. So starting out, evaluation and performance measurement are defined in US code. And evaluation, I'm not going to read all these slides, but this is nice language to review as reference. Evaluation is in-depth and rigorous using scientifically based research methods to assess the effectiveness of your program. And it is an estimate of the impacts of your program, comparing the outcomes for individuals receiving a service to the outcomes for similar individuals not receiving a service. So again, it is pretty in-depth and very deliberate and thought out and designed in a scientific way to assess in a cause-effect relationship the effects of your program over time. If you compare that to performance measurement is something that happens systematically and regularly and is collecting and monitoring data in relation to the performance measures that you have outlined in your application. The performance measurement is not intended to establish a causal relationship between the program and a desired or undesired program outcome. And you'll see here that the requirements of collecting performance measurement versus program evaluation is significantly different. So I'm going to start at the top here and kind of work my way through. So anytime you apply for an AmeriCorps program with AmeriCorps members, part and parcel of that application is determining your performance measures. And here you see the term aligned performance measure. And an aligned performance measure refers to an output matched with an outcome. And the various rules on how you can match outputs with outcomes is outlined in the performance measure instructions. So there's a lot of detail there about when you can choose your own applicant determined measures versus national measures and how you can pair them. So there's a real wealth of information within that application or performance measure instructions. So those are, again, part and parcel of the application. So those come in as we review. So as we review and approve your application, those performance measures are wrapped right into what you will be doing. And that is reporting, collecting and reporting on performance measure data throughout your program lifecycle. And you'll see here that we and AmeriCorps both need your data. Are you meeting your targets on your performance measures, on your outputs, on your outcomes? Are you exceeding them? Are you below them? And you're able to provide a rationale about why you may or may not be meeting your targets. And do you need to adjust your targets accordingly? Maybe you are having circumstances where you're not going to be able to meet your targets, or maybe you're far exceeding them and need to raise them, for instance. So that is an iterative process where we are collecting your data on an annual basis. You'll see here, regardless of what 3-year grant life cycle you're in, we are collecting that data, and you are collecting and analyzing and sending that data up to Serve Colorado on an annual basis. Now, evaluation is a little bit different in that it is not an annual iterative process, but there are some benchmarks that happen throughout the performance cycle of your program that you need to be aware of. So you'll see in the third row here, evaluation plan. And that happens, that is submitted at the end of your first 3-year grant cycle. So when you're in year 3 of your first grant year cycle, you are preparing to submit a recompete application for a second 3-year grant cycle. So to move from year 3 to an overall year 4 of your program. And in order to recompete and be awarded a second 3-year grant cycle from AmeriCorps and Serve Colorado, you have to have an evaluation plan in place. And at the time of this recording, we are in the process of transitioning from slightly different rules between our formula and competitive applicants. And if you're not sure where you fall, your Serve Colorado program officer can certainly help you and remind you if you're competitive or formula. But as late as 2021, we were not requiring our formula programs to submit an evaluation plan during a recompete application. So we are transitioning where this evaluation plan and evaluation requirements are mirrored from the federal level and the competitive process into the Serve Colorado and the formula process. So we will be working with our formula programs to make sure that they have the time and the resources to make that transition into creating a high quality evaluation plan. So those evaluation plans are considered as part of the review process in recompete applications. So again, for those of you moving from overall year 3 into overall year 4 for a second 3-year grant cycle, you'll be submitting that evaluation plan. And once that evaluation plan is approved, that allows you to go ahead and implement or conduct that evaluation within that second 3-year grant cycle. And that'll be part of the design about how long that will take and sequencing about when you will start that evaluation, when you will conclude that, and then how that will be reported up. And the report that results from your evaluation is due at the end of that second 3-year grant cycle or overall year 6. So we at Serve Colorado and AmeriCorps, the federal agency, you're going to show us the results of your evaluation, what that showed, and again, is there a causal relationship between the activities in your grants and the outcomes that you saw, and how was that determined? And then this process repeats. So after that second 3-year grant cycle, you're then going to be creating another evaluation plan for the subsequent 3-year grant cycle, followed by an evaluation report. So it continues similar to what you're seeing here between the evaluation plan and the report. So each subsequent 3-year grant cycle, you're going to develop a plan and then subsequently conduct that evaluation and then submit a report and repeat for as long as you have an AmeriCorps program. So I also wanted to walk you through this life cycle and really just kind of putting in words what I was explaining in that timeline, right? So in the initial application, you're developing your performance measures. You're tracking them through the life cycle of the program. And I did touch on the ability to amend or edit your performance measures. The ability to do that does differ a bit typically between competitive grants and formula grants. As a competitive competitive program, you are really being overseen more closely on the year-to-year application and the approval of that at the national level by AmeriCorps. And AmeriCorps typically does not want to see deviations in targets and performance measures from year to year. And the reason for that is they want to be able to look over the 3-year span and see the data over a 3-year span, right? So if your targets change or your performance measures change, it makes it more difficult for them to report up to Congress targets that are being met or not met and why, and explaining in kind of a more robust way the effects the programs are having from a data perspective on performance measurement. As a formula applicant, you're working more directly with Serve Colorado on your application so that if you did want to make adjustments to your targets or performance measures from year to year within a 3-year cycle, that you do have a little more ability to do that. So reach out to your program officer if you do think that's something that you're going to want to do from within 1 year to another. And within a year, if you have a target or a performance measure that you feel like, what, this performance measure is just not going to work the way we thought it was going to, or we're going to be way under or way over, we don't really encourage you to try to change that mid-cycle. It's just a matter of collecting that data, reporting it at the end. If it's zero, if it is just way beyond what you thought you were going to do, or it's just a very small percentage of the target that you thought you were going to have, just provide a rationale, right? And walk us through that data and the rationale of why that number is what it is. And then if we need to pivot and course correct in the following year, we can do that. All right. Program evaluation. As I said, we're in the process of transitioning to making evaluation required across the board for both formula and competitive applications. So there is definitely more to come, and we will be on a case-by-case basis with each program in our portfolio based on how long you've been in our portfolio, whether you're competitive or formula. We're going to be working with you again so that, again, you have the time and resources to have an effective and robust evaluation plan that you understand and can implement, whether working with a consultant or doing that in-house. I did want to point out that there is a comprehensive, and I do mean comprehensive, list of evaluation resources provided by AmeriCorps, the federal agency. So if you go to this site, it is a wealth of recordings over the years from folks, for instance, at the University of Chicago who work in this space, who work hand in hand with AmeriCorps on reviewing the evaluation plans and the evaluation reports that come in. So the real experts in the field that work with AmeriCorps, those recordings are available that walk you through the process. Lots of PowerPoint slides, lots of templates to work from. So, regardless of where you are, that is a great first entree into understanding more about the process, and definitely set aside some time. It requires a pretty good amount of kind of attention and concentration to understand and work through all the ins and outs of evaluation. So Serve is going to be here to help you navigate. We're looking into bringing outside experts in periodically to work directly with you as programs, again, whether competitive or formula, to help you through the process. We also can work with you on making sure that you budget in your applications, making sure that you understand, looking out, hey, we're going to have an evaluation plan due in a year or two. Let's budget that out and make sure we have the resources in-house to build out our plan, whether that's working with a consultant or what that looks like. So our fiscal side of the house can help you, as well as myself and your program officer, think through how to budget that. So this is a great resource. Again, we will be in touch on how to realize both your performance measurement and program evaluation plans and reports throughout your period of performance. Thank you so much.